Hey, I'm Jim. If you've ever been in a relationship where someone clearly cares but never fights for you, this video is for you. Today, we're diving into the psychology of avoidant attachment, why they pull away even when love still exists. Their silence, distance, and withdrawal aren't signs that you're not enough. In fact, they often reflect deep internal struggles they haven't learned to face. You deserve clarity, effort, and real intimacy, and that starts by understanding what's actually going on beneath the surface. If you're looking for answers, peace, and the strength to stop chasing someone who isn't emotionally ready, stay with me until the end. And don't forget to hit subscribe. You're not alone on this journey. One of the core reasons why avoidant partners can't move toward you even when they still caress because they're deeply uncomfortable with their own emotion. It might sound simple, but this is the root behind so many painful behaviors you've probably struggled to make sense of. From a young age, they weren't taught that emotions are safe to feel and express. Instead, they learned to suppress, deny, or detach from feelings as a survival strategy. So when they miss you, when part of them genuinely wants to reach out, that part is quickly overpowered by fear. Fear of being vulnerable, of rejection, of getting swept into something too emotionally intense. They start to overthink. What if I reach out? Would she even want to hear from me? Maybe it's better if I just stay quiet. And then they disappear. You see that silence and assume they've forgotten you or stopped caring. But the truth is they're trapped inside themselves, caught between authentic feelings and the fear of confronting them. This doesn't excuse the emotional negligence that often happens in these dynamics, but it does help you understand that their silence isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their emotional capacity, and in many cases, that capacity is painfully underdeveloped. And because avoidants are so uncomfortable with emotion, 7 positive ones like missing or loving you soon run into a deeper layer of defense, self-worth tied to extreme independence. For them, needing someone isn't just unfamiliar, it's a direct threat to the self-image they've built to survive. From childhood, many avoidants had to emotionally fend for themselves. They learn not to rely on others, not to expect nurturing or care. This self-sufficiency once protected them, but in adult relationships, it becomes the very thing that sabotages real intimacy. They're terrified of their own attachment needs because to admit they miss you, need you, or are hurting without you would feel like betraying the identity they've worked so hard to uphold. So even if you mean the world to them, even if they care deeply, they may still choose silence or distance. Because fighting for you would require facing a truth they can't tolerate, that they're not okay without you. And for them, admitting that is scarier than losing you altogether. That's why you're left standing there, wounded, wondering why they won't fight for the love you shared. But inside them, it's a war between how they feel and who they believe they have to be. And tragically, they'd rather lose you than drop the mask of being completely self-reliant. Because avoidants tie their self-worth to hyper-independence, any sign of emotional neediness feels like a personal failure. And from that failure blooms something even deeper, a belief that they are fundamentally unworthy of your love. Here's the cruel irony. The more they love you, the less worthy they feel of being with you. Your kindness, your patience, your emotional availability don't pull them close, and instead, it triggers a quiet sense of inadequacy. To an avoidant, your love becomes a mirror reflecting everything they fear they lack. And when they feel defeated before they even try, they don't fight, they retreat to avoid witnessing their own perceived failure. Many avoidants carry a subconscious wound from childhood, the belief that they can't make others happy. So when they fall for you, they fear they'll only end up hurting you too. That's why they tell themselves, sometimes even tell you, that letting go is the kindest thing they can do. They don't leave because they don't care. They leave because they believe they can't love you right. What they don't realize is that this very act of leaving is what wounds you most. Avoidants don't walk away in rage, they walk away in silence, full of shame. And in that silence, they spin a story. You deserve someone better. It sounds noble, even selfless. But beneath that narrative lies the same old childhood pain, fleeing from connection, not because they don't feel, but because they feel too much and don't know how to handle it. This doesn't make their choice okay, but it reveals a heartbreaking truth. The more meaningful the connection, the more likely they are to run out from you, but from the weight of their own unworthiness. And once that deep sense of unworthiness takes root, another emotion starts to take over. guilt, and shame. They know they've hurt you. They've seen the pain their silence caused, the heartbreak from all the times they pulled away when you needed them the most. And the truth is, it makes them feel awful. But instead of stepping up to make things right, they freeze. Because for avoidance, facing the pain they've caused isn't just uncomfortable, it's almost unbearable. It touches their oldest wound. I'm a burden. I harm the people I love. And that shame doesn't push them toward repair, it makes them shut down even more. They know you deserve an apology, change, someone who tries. But because they don't believe they're capable of being that person, they choose the only thing they know, disappearance, not out of coldness, but out of pure emotional helplessness. In that silence is very real pain, but also a very real decision. To run from the consequences instead of learning to face them like someone capable of secure love. And that's the most heartbreaking paradox of the avoidant. They love, but they don't know how to stay. They miss you, but they don't know how to love you without hurting you. They think letting go is the kindest thing when all you ever needed was honesty and effort. If you found yourself constantly making excuses for them, waiting for them to wake up, hoping they'll come back and see your worth, let me remind you, love can't heal wounds someone refuses to face. You can't do the emotional labor for both of you. You can't fight for two, and you should never sacrifice your self-respect to maintain half-hearted closeness. They have their journey, and it's not your fault. But you have yours too. And yours deserves to be built on clarity, mutual effort, and emotional responsibility from both sides. You deserve a love that doesn't make you anxious, doesn't leave you reading between silences, and doesn't ask you to be the strong one just to feel worthy. If this video helped you see things more clearly, drop a comment, hit like, and don't forget to subscribe. Because becoming your secure, grounded self begins with choosing peace over chasing the familiar.